Okay, so this has been going on for over an hour in the background. If they get super loud, obviously, this is overwhelming to me. Being in environments where people are violent and screaming all the time will eventually result in me screaming. I'm unable to fight anymore, so if I try to confront them about it, I will likely get my ass whooped. He's not threatening her, she's the one who's threatening him, and I don't know what to do about this. Um, so while there's people beating on stuff in the background, I've got a deadline here. Also, I've tried contacting the police about this situation before. Um, it's the local drug house, so I mean, it's all the time. They're right next door to a family with kids, and all day, all night, they have to deal with this. Also, that family happens to be people who have witnessed some of the abuse against me. I'm going to try press and play on this. This is Russell. This is specifically about the evidence with Shelley and him verifying that he knows it to be true. So we're going to play one little part of this. We're also going to play this entire conversation with him later on because he is aware that I'm recording. He is aware that I do it for my safety because so many people have lied or misdirected or made bad assumptions that resulted in me or others being harmed repeatedly. I mean, I've been trying to turn in the abuse against Claire for a long time. She did not deserve that. And I definitely can state 100% beyond any shadow of a doubt that the places that she told me about that I have been to, I can verify that they still continued to do those things while I was there. Many of the same people. They blew her off. They didn't do their job as mandatory reporters. Now let's play this. This is about the picture that Shelley destroyed. That picture had some mean stuff on it, and I was told that it had mean stuff on it by Shelley, and it also had stuff on it about the Natalie Bollinger thing. But Russell, he verifies it in this recording right here. The place where we used your information and stuff because I didn't have any yet. Well, I was able to get an email address and them. So changing that over is important. Shelley is not going to work with me anymore after admitting that she destroyed that picture. That's pretty important. I do want to find out what was up about that picture, why there was a picture posted up of me with mean stuff written on it for months, why it was slid into the drawer, and why it is that she destroyed it rather than... I have no idea on that one. But this is stuff that is important. So he has no idea why she destroyed it. Also, he wasn't there when it was put up. It was there when he first started working there, but that wasn't very long ago. Like, he'd only started working there, I think when he started being my peer support worker, he'd only been there for a month. So that's important to note as well. If it was up that long, obviously this is a situation where they were aware of the Natalie Bollinger situation and the truth of it. And the thing is, like, at first I thought maybe this picture was a picture of Natalie that I had taken in there. Because, like, these people are treating me like I'm delusional over something that's easy to look up. This is all the way back in 2023 and 2022. So I went in there with a picture from quote-unquote True Crime Garage that's got a picture of Natalie Bollinger on it, and it is something that I can show them that part is at least true, and they could look it up. Well, apparently somebody took it upon themselves to download a picture of me and some of the mean stuff that, whether it's true or not, doesn't make any difference to them. Let's press play and let's listen to what he's got to say, right?
These are situations where she literally destroyed evidence and admitted to it. She also admitted to destroying more evidence that's in my file, but I don't have any evidence that she said that. I do have evidence that she texted that she did destroy that picture.
Yeah, I was trying to be nice by not recording every single time that I went in there, primarily because I didn't have the ability to. Oftentimes, it was because I needed to save that space in case I'm attacked again or assaulted again. Meanwhile, if I am attacked or assaulted, if I don't have my phone out already, well, it's not like they're going to go, oh, all right, we'll give you the time to take your phone out and record us. No, no, they're not going to do that. I mean, many of these people, have attacked me in the middle of recording, not recording them, just recording for my safety, because I have to be afraid of those people assaulting me if I don't have a camera out. They'll assault me either way, but at least if my camera's out, I can record it.
So I've seen that picture. I know which one you're talking about. I seen it, and you know that when I first got here. Then after that, I didn't see that for a while, so I didn't even know where it went. Do you remember what it said? No, I don't. This was many months ago. So yeah. Yes, sir. I think it had a lot to do with what happened with you and the thing on Haiti. What we're talking about. So everybody in the office is aware of it. I guess. I don't know. Well, that's a situation where instead of everybody saying don't say this and don't say that, my First Amendment right is to speak out. You can go ahead and take the fifth. Anybody can take the fifth. But the first is more important. I'm speaking up about abuse, and it is nobody's right to prevent me from doing so or to cut me off from doing so. And as a disabled person, I am a protected status, and there is supposed to be a case manager and a case worker to assist me with this. We haven't gotten that, and Shelley wasn't working on anything. The housing stuff, she kept on going around in circles every single meeting, and every single meeting I'd explain to her, well, I already filled out.
This is Russell. So, one of the things is he was already starting to initiate what was necessary in order to turn this stuff in. And that's when he was put on basically maintenance duty for 2 weeks. And after that maintenance duty for 2 weeks, he was supposed to go back to being my peer support worker. Um, I was showing him evidence in this video. He admits that I showed him evidence. There's several pieces of evidence that show that I'm not delusional, that he's seen, but everybody else refuses to look at. Instead of taking the allegations of abuse seriously, they pretend that it's not credible by continuing to play the mentally ill thing, or by claiming that it's not their job to do the mentally ill crap. Obviously, this is what they're wanting to push. It's not their job to do anything to protect the mentally ill. They only use that as an excuse to, well, to punish their victim for coming forward, to discredit their victim. Oh my God. You guys can probably still hear that in the background. And you get to hear this from Russell. He verifies that I told the truth. Um, there's a couple other pieces of evidence here that are real important as far as that goes. Like the screensaver for this video is Shelly being nice about it, but she months ago told me that she destroyed this evidence, and because I wasn't audio recording, um, I had to wait through 2 months of her not showing up over and over and over again. I'm going to show you, I have found some more cards. The reason that I started insisting on getting these cards is because I was repeatedly going into care for appointments, and they were double booking or not showing up, or had to leave last minute to go do something else, or they're constantly sick. And, this is the reality of what I'm having to go through. So, let's pause this for a second so I can take a breather. Sorry, all of them screaming gives me anxiety. Puts me through some pretty potent flashbacks. So this right here from Deputy Taylor, this is the difference. The courts knew that I was telling the truth. They had verification that I was telling the truth. July 29th of 2024 by their own stamp right here. But you also noticed that they didn't sign their name to it. This right here is the difference between being schizophrenic on paper and not being schizophrenic on paper. This is a deputy who verified this. Also evidence. See, I was trying to turn in abuse by whatever means necessary. I wrote it down on these inmate request forms. They wrote down that I did not fight with their shift. I wrote, Deputy Carrillo, did you ever help put me in the restraint chair? If so, did I fight going into the chair? I would like the answer in writing, please and thank you. This is from 6/23/2024. He wrote, no, you never fought with our shift. Imagine that. J-C, that's 264. That's Jesus Carrillo, by the way. Here's another one. This is from 277 as well. That's, as we know, Deputy Taylor. And this one is also from 6/23/2024. Also verified by the courts that they saw it. Also not signed. July 29th, and I wrote it on June 23rd. So it took over a month for them to even check it. Yep, I wrote, Deputy Taylor, have you ever helped put me in the restraint chair? If so, did I fight going into the restraint chair? Please and thank you. He typed, I have. You were compliant and non-combative. Imagine that. Right here. It says the most common symptoms of this disorder are she was saying I have autism spectrum disorder and PTSD. This is Marcia Estrada. So the messages to their investigator, and I'm going to show you some pieces about why this is important too. She saw me October 18th, 2021. That was my birthday, by the way. She saw me in the Scottsbluff jail. I was in Scottsbluff jail over issues with the dual county jail. Isn't that odd? Completely different county. They sent me to 5 different counties altogether over that. Anyway, this woman here, Marcia Estrada, who has the letters behind her name in the state of Nebraska well, she's qualified to diagnose schizophrenia. She wrote, the most common symptoms of this disorder, she's talking about PTSD. The most common symptoms of this disorder are anxiety, hypervigilance, and a feeling of impending doom. Now, feeling of impending doom, the thing about this, and hypervigilance, and the anxiety, let's say you're beaten up by the same guy after school every day, and it's almost the bell. It's almost time for school to be out. You got anxiety. You're hypervigilant. And, of course, you have a feeling of impending doom. This is far different than a paranoid schizophrenic delusion, obviously. It's based off of reality. She also wrote, it does not appear Sean experiences any hallucinations or other psychosis. He does not meet the diagnostic criteria for schizophrenia. Sincerely, Marcia L. Estrada. This is through Cirrus House. There's supposedly advocacy and housing. Well, we should take advocacy off if they're not actually advocating, or if they only advocate for housing, which we get to hear a lot. In the Melissa call between her and Russell, right before this call that I had at the very beginning that I played for you, Melissa was wanting to play that too. Oh, we only advocate for housing. It's stupid. right here, we get to have fun stuff. This is Herschel Brown. He was my first public pretender. Absolutely refused to do his job, would not hear my story, was a complete and total bully. Claimed that he didn't believe that I had any aid and assist issues, but he also refused to do his job, and I had to try to turn him into the courts, whereby he played victim and abused his position of power to hold this crap. So it says, this is July 29th, 2024. We should probably play the first one for you. We're actually going to do that. We'll go to the first one. This one is 6/4/2024. Herschel Brown Jr., and the prosecutor is Jeremy Dietrich. So we go down here and we see that on June 4th, 2024, it says defense reports no aid and assist concerns. State moves for an evaluation. After colloquy with defendant, court does not have aid and assist concerns. So after that, he immediately started moving towards the playing the mentally ill thing, but also lying to me and telling me that he wasn't going to. This is the stuff I was charged with. When I finally got my court date, well, it turns out that they couldn't charge me with any of these things. They had to drop all of these charges, and the judge spent about 20 minutes going through the law stuff to try to find a misdemeanor they might be able to charge me with. Yeah, imagine that. By the way, from the date of this, it took over a year because I was in there for about 15 months overall. It says defense reports no aid and assist concerns. Now, the lieutenant at the jail, his name is Lieutenant Silvera, they tried to pull something to have me given a psych eval anyway, even though this judge here said that there were no aid and assist concerns, and we went along that way. So they tell me that they're going to help me out, and they have a therapist who's coming to see me. Oh, whoopee. Well, I get into this therapist meeting. She doesn't tell me that they don't tell me that it's a psych eval. She doesn't tell me that it's a psych eval. And the state hasn't ordered a psych eval at this point. So this lady is, I don't know what she's doing there, but I know that she's definitely not an average therapist. She starts doing the aid and assist crap. And of course, I already know what she's doing, and I also didn't agree to this. So, and it's also not court ordered, so it's not even binding me for me to sit there and go through it. She basically threw a tantrum over this when I realized what she was actually doing. And, well, it was after that that Deputy Taylor wrote that piece of paper. Now, if I'd have gone along with this state thing that was not sanctioned, obviously, by the courts, it was not sanctioned. If I'd have gone along with that, that woman, obviously, since she wasn't telling me that it was a psychological evaluation, and they didn't tell me it was a psychological evaluation, they tried to play it off as just a therapy visit to help me out. No, what they were trying to do is have me pegged as schizophrenic or delusional for something they already knew to be true. They already knew that these were not delusions. And without Deputy Taylor's piece of paper at that point showing that he knew they weren't delusions, well, they would have just railroaded me, and that's enough said, right? So here, on June 4th, there's no aid and assist concerns. Then we go to June 29th, same attorney. I've had to try to turn him in because he's literally not doing his job. He does not care. That's not just the mandatory reporting stuff, it's all of it. He's just a bully. Well, I'm a dick back, just so you know. So on this one, because I tried to turn him in, I didn't fire him, I tried to turn him in. So he got to continue to be my attorney, which they should have reviewed this immediately, but they're not going to because, well, they broke the law too. They're going to help each other out. So it says defense counsel reports aid and assist concerns all of a sudden. Imagine that. Evaluation scheduled for September 6th, 2024, which is literally over a month after when my trial was supposed to start. It's also the fact that he set up that meeting when we did this one. He set up that meeting on June 4th, 2024. So he'd already planned on pulling this aid and assist stuff well in advance. But his friend, this is his selling point for this, that his friend was the forensics evaluator. And she was a close personal friend, and her name was Ashley Astoop. And her psychological evaluation says that I was able to aid and assist. It states very clearly that I'm not schizophrenic or delusional, and it states very clearly that what they believed was a delusion, the situation with Natalie Bollinger in specific, she wrote down that it's actually true. It's verified by Ashley Astoop. But you notice it also says, counsel states he may withdraw. No. This is not okay. This is absolutely not okay. They allowed him to continue to pretend to be my public pretender for months after this. For months after I tried to turn him in. So, September 6th, because mind you, this right here is 7/29. That's not September, is it? No, that's just July. So August and September. So we missed my trial date already by this point. And of course, it's very specifically because I tried to turn him in. He was abusing his position of power to punish me for trying to turn him in. And the judge allowed him to continue being my attorney despite the fact that he broke the law. They took away my right to a speedy trial repeatedly. Counsel will not withdraw until next appearance. Well, excuse me, but maybe we should have had somebody look into the abuse by this attorney. Why is it that he didn't want to do his fucking job? So then let's look at this one. Herschel Brown Jr. This is the that's the same one we showed before. Sorry about that. Now let's show this one. This one's a different attorney. The prosecutor is something Dickinson. Strange. But it actually wasn't. It also says defense attorney John Goopbazall. This guy was useless as tits on a boar. And of course, time set for review. Mr. Schwartz authorizes Attorney Brown to release evaluation to Mr. Goopbazall, defendant to appear in person, October 3rd, 2024. Yeah, I got to spend my birthday in jail last year. It was lovely. They were wanting to have a review hearing aid and assist. Obviously, their evaluation showed I was able to aid and assist. And so did the 4 evaluations after that. All of those evaluations, the people who evaluated it stated very, very clearly that I am neither schizophrenic nor delusional, and as we all know, that is thanks to a piece of evidence that is verified by Deputy Taylor, as these things are not schizophrenic delusions. They are very real, and they should have been taken seriously from the start. Now, this shows that they knew at least as early as 6/19 from his response, or did they? I mean, this is all supposed to be shared, isn't it? They absolutely knew by July 29th, and yet they continued to drag this out with this mentally ill crap. Then there's the evidence with Shay Darnell, who's peer support. She came and saw me in the jail when she worked for TFCC. This is evidence that she works at CARE, but also you're going to get to hear in the conversation that she no longer works there. Imagine that. Oh, sorry. I believe if you guys have any information for Russell, you can contact CARE and you can let them know. any of that stuff that you'd like to send to him, please try to do so. There is a lot more in here. Obviously, the evidence, the medical evidence, I'm supposed to be careful about what I put online with that. So I'm trying to do that. That's why I have a guy who's coming over to verify the information and help me to turn it in appropriately. And well, there's a lot of messed up situations with that, but we're working on it. Um, so one of the psychological evaluators is Dr. James Pekanu of the Oregon State Hospital, and he is a forensics evaluator. So he gets to decide whether you're schizophrenic or not, basically. And then his boss as well, who's the head of all that stuff for the entire state. And then there's Dr. Leslie Carter. And then there is obviously Ashley Astoup. But you might have noticed also that I've been posting up evidence that even your attorney is a mandatory reporter. They didn't want to do their jobs as mandatory reporters, and they wanted to ignore the evidence that these were not delusions. Wanted to claim that it had nothing to do with my court case and had no bearing on my court case without even hearing the story. Well, obviously, it's got plenty to deal with my court case, especially since these are the predators that I was trying to turn in. These are people who I had to call 911 over assaults and threats and intimidation, and obviously a refusal to do their jobs as mandatory reporters. There's also failure to investigate, intimidation, coercion. I think they're going to start screaming again. I can hear them a little bit. Um, Obviously, this isn't what I want to be doing. I want to see my friends and family, the ones that haven't all died off in the last 10 years. Yeah, that's how long this has lasted. It started on October 17th, the day before my birthday. October 17th of 2015, when I hurt my back moving a 800-pound lathe. We've got a lot of other evidence in here, like my copies of booking notes, my notes on one of the visits with Rebecca. We had several visits with her. Request for copies of records. All right. So we're going to go all the way up to the very top, and we're going to show you how this whole conversation started. So an investigator was to see how much stuff I sent. Yeah, evidence of abuse against me. So I was told I needed to send evidence of abuse to the TFCC investigator, which obviously I did. On April 15th, 2024, I sent her this. This is a threat against me and my little sister and my niece. It's obviously not a threat against Kylie, the investigator. And there's a lot of it, too. A whole lot of it, obviously. Oh, here's a cute one. Report all you want, Maine. They'll never, ever do anything. They don't care because you're a bad person, so on and so forth. Let's meet up. Don't you make me come tow your car. I'm Dylan the racist youngin. Screenshot this. And then he claims that he's me, and then he claims that he's Claire. Like, it's a messed up situation. Here's an actual threat against me.
Don't get me confused, man. I ain't no fucking PC. I'll stab you right in your fucking eyeball and show your fucking ass.
Told ya.
Fucking heartbeat.
And of course, in my paperwork from TFCC, they claim that these are threats towards their weekend worker, and that the threats against me over Natalie Bollinger are delusions. That people aren't actually threatening me or my friends and family. That none of these messages were ever sent to them. They don't actually exist, or apparently they're construed as threats against the investigator. Now let me show you why this is important, because I had to try to turn this in. Well, here's evidence of Many, many restricted calls. Oh, come on. There we go. Like a lot of restricted calls. By the way, all those are like within an hour of each other. All right, scrolling through. I mean, we're showing her evidence of hate crimes. They're calling me a homosexual and calling me the N-word while they're threatening my life. And obviously, I'm typing to them what it is that they're saying to me. I'm sending screenshots of what they're sending me in texting. I'm recording anything in person that I possibly can. And you can see over and over again that I'm literally sending them the stuff about the threats towards me. This is evidence from my little sister, saying that she was followed by the cops and had some guy threaten her that if she doesn't walk away now, her and my niece are going to get hurt or even killed. Not fucking okay. This has been going on for years. It's not a delusion. So April 17th, I had to try to turn that in, right? So June 17th, 2025 grievance. It says we received your grievance on August 28th, 2025. Thank you for bringing this information to our attention. So how many months did it take? Mary Lindsay is no longer employed with the agency. So predator shuffling right there. The Tillamook Family Counseling Center leadership team has turned this documentation into our adult abuse investigator as next steps. Has their abuse investigator tried to do anything? Has Adult Protective Services tried to do anything? Have they tried to get the information from me? Have they tried to collect the evidence? Have they any of this? No, they haven't at all. It says, we apologize for any inconvenience this may have caused and greatly appreciate your input in this matter. Imagine that. Luke McCabe, 8/29/25. Luke McCabe, QL coordinator. Now, their investigator, Luke McCabe, well, wasn't the other investigator's name Kylie? How come he never tried to investigate? By the way, Russell can speak about that situation as well. So, apparently he's just a coordinator, I guess. He's the one that wrote this thing, quality improvement coordinator. So, he's just the quality improvement coordinator. He's not the investigator, so why'd they have me sent to him? Obviously, he's going to send me to a different investigator, right? Isn't this getting confusing already? So, is there investigator Kylie? Because obviously, Kylie has already broken the law. Because of the repeated quantity of harm that I had to endure, well, she's actually committed felonies. And at this point, so is Luke. They claim they turned it into their adult abuse investigator as next steps. Who is their adult abuse investigator? If it's not Luke McCabe.